See, you want us to pity you, but were you there pitying all those souls you decided to slaughter? I get that you guys think by doing this religious cult thing that it's got nothing to do with that of the past, but if you look back, what have you kept? What objects have you kept in that of a guard to the situation? You kept the things that destroyed billions of lives. That witch hunt wasn't just a witch hunt. You went after anyone that didn't belong in your group, didn't like your ways, didn't follow your out of mind decisions. You think the books have the truth of what really was written back then? If you knew what was written back then, you would be frightened from your own books. But then again, you never were because you killed. Just because you're not the ones that did it doesn't change the factors that you're holding on to the things that caused that disaster. People that know about the history know very much that it's not worth having a book to tell people what to do because you know what? It caused death and destruction. So when people look at your Bibles, what do they see? They see evil incarnate because that's another book to control another person and control how they should act, who they should be with. And you know what? We're sick and tired of it. So why in the world would we pity you after your hot hatred to everyone that is different? And we know you do because, darling, you wouldn't have those books if you didn't. You don't make a book to have kindness. You make a book to follow to hate on others. That's why that book's there. To hate others that aren't like you. So why in the world would we pity someone like you? You kill us and murder us, and we're supposed to pity you? Sorry, but we don't. Because we see karma's finally come back to bite you religious freaks in the butt. Yeah, I called you a freak. Because it makes me feel good to know that you finally got something coming to you. After all the pain you put billions of other people through, you're finally getting what's coming. We're happy. We're not happy you're getting reincarnated. We're just happy you're finally learning your darn lesson. Pardon the language, I really shouldn't have swear, but the point of it all, we are tired and sick of you telling us how we should be and that we should not exist. You need to stop putting down all ways and start thinking about what yours have done to everyone else. We have never done a thing that caused death to anyone else. We lived happily. There was gays living happily. There was all sorts of different people living happily, and they had nothing to do with creating the war you brung. The only thing that may have happened back then was one of you got pissed off because the other one didn't want to follow your methods. Well, I hate to tell you, but no one's going to get told what to do. If someone wants to be with their love, they're going to be with their love. They're going to follow their hearts. They're going to decide that their heart matters most because it tells them the truth. They love that person. You're not taking away true love. So get lost. Or come back and be part of the society of growth. Because we're not looking to go backwards in time. That's what religiousness does. It puts us backwards. Doesn't bring us forward. It only brings us back to the same mess that caused the first mess. The darn book Because that book was created to destroy, and it did. No, it wasn't one book, it was multiple. Because as it was happening in one place, it was happening in another. It was the same thing, and it's because there was a big group that created the mess, and they spreaded it and created more. And you're holding on to the thing that caused death. So, you want to know something? I feel sorry for you. Because you're going to have to go through a whole lot more karma until you realize that the book creates death. No, you don't actually die, you just get reincarnated. But the neat thing about reincarnation, you forget a lot. And that can be a suffering. Because you lose your family, your friends, your memories of them, and everything else in between. Because that's what happens when you do bad. You don't get to go to a place of paradise. You go to reincarnation. Because you're not settled. Your soul hasn't settled down. It's always up and about trying to kill another person. That's not settled, darling. When you're trying to make a book to say this person can't be here because I've never seen it, or this can't be that, or whatever. You want to know something? I don't care if a gay wants to date a gay. I don't care if they want to be together forever. Because you know what? It's not my business. And neither is it yours to tell someone who they can love and who they can't. There ain't no God. And you know what? I am happy for that, because if I had to deal with a person that was being a butthead, it would drive me up a wall. Because I've seen how you guys act. I don't need to see how that person acts. If anything, I want to obey a thing that person said. None of they act like you. Horrid incarnate. So for the people out there that's hearing this, hopefully there's some good people and feeling the same thing. Anger towards them. But don't let your anger take over. Just because we're angry doesn't mean we have to be like them. I'm just doing this so they know what they done to us. So they understand that we're hurt. And we're upset. And we're angry. And we got all these emotions. But there's a reason for it. And I said it. So in the long run, hopefully, they'll learn something. But then again, have they ever? I mean, they took one thing in one year and then out the other, and then they went back to that book to destroy more lives. I mean, I see more churches and I do peaceful places to just sit and talk. No, we gotta have a church building to represent we want to kill another person. Because that's what it represents. It's what it represented in the past. It's what it represents now. Because you can't change something when something hasn't been changed, but just moved to a different form. In the end, I'm sick and tired of seeing the church buildings everywhere. I'm sick and tired of everyone thinking it's a happy ever after. Like everything's okay because of it. But it's not. It's a panic. It's a worry that it's going to happen again. There's going to be a bloodshed. There's going to be disaster. Because every time that place gets put up, more deaths are found everywhere you look. I'm just glad that karma's come back at him, but it's not solving the issue. It's not taking out the destruction. It's not taking out the scaredness of everyone out there. It's not saving people that deserve to be saved. Because they're putting their temples up. Pointing out they're going to kill us. Because that's what it represents. A warning that they're coming for us. I'm sick and tired of waiting for them just to walk through my door. Just so they can kill me. I am sick and tired of listening to them talk on and on. About them being just human this, human that, human that. Darling, that's not the only thing here. There's animals, there's other creatures. We all exist. And it's got no right for you to say you're the only ones that deserve happiness. We all live here. This ain't just your world. It's everyone's. We all deserve respect. And that cross and Bible, that's not respect. That's a big on threat. You're threatening us. You're saying you're gonna bring back the same war that was brung back in the day. We don't want it. We don't need it. We have spiritual to us, but we don't need to make up nonsense to be spiritual. We pray to our ancestors. That's good enough for us, because that's all we need. Because one leads to another, you go too deep, you lose your mind. And clearly you have, because every time you bring your buildings, we die and we suffer for your churches. So you think that place is all great? How many people have to suffer for you to have your church? For your own way, your specific desire. How many of us have to die and be reincarnated just so you can be happy? Why can't you find happiness without putting all of us in your world? I don't have to worry about a gay coming on me and telling me to be this or be that, because you want to know something? They're living their happy life, and when I see it, I smile. When I see a church, I'm reminded of the death and destruction it brought. When I looked at this other church, I didn't even think about a church having skulls. That was even worse. You think a witch is bad? Witches are kind of good. Some are evil, but that's just part of life. You got good and you got bad, and everyone is different. But when I look at your building, the fact that it had skulls on the wall, used, that's evil. That's sameness. That's crazy. And that's dark magic. And pure darkness, nonetheless. So, you have no right coming after us and telling us we are bad when you're the ones being evil and threatening us with your buildings and with your books. Just pointing out that we don't belong. When we do. And it's not right for you to come and try to tell us we don't deserve to be here. You need to think about what you're in. And then you need to think about, do you really want to be evil? Because that's exactly what it is. If you look closely, darling, you will see it. Because we all see it. Because we have been put through chaos. You went and killed our ancestors, slaughtered them, murdered them, whatever. You killed them in the end of the story. And that was not right. That was dark and that was evil. All for your church building to be put up all over the darn globe, pardon the language. You think you deserve happiness? After what you keep on doing, following those who did it? You don't deserve anything until you make up for what you have done. Take away those books, bring back the peace, and maybe, just maybe, the universe will give you what you deserve. If it thinks you learned a lesson. But we don't deserve to be put through all this so you can have what you want. I'm a Wiccan and I am proud of it. I don't need no religious person telling me it's bad. I've had enough of that in my life. I don't need another bit. I am just fine practicing my art. Because you want to know something? It's my magic, And I have the right to use it. It's mine. Mine. You have yours. Everyone else has theirs. I have a right to use my own magic, and no one's telling me what to do. It's my magic. If I want to use it, I will use it. And if I want to be gay, I'll be gay. Because it's my choice, not yours. And that is why I am here stating the fact of I've had enough of your mouth and your hardness. You need to take a minute to think about what you've done and what you keep on trying to do, because this don't work. Those churches, that Bible, that cross, gotta go if you want peace. Because until those are gone, people are not going to be happy because they're going to be afraid that it's still coming. Till you get rid of the things that are putting fear in people's eyes, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to be at peace. Because you have brought pain upon everyone around you. Because you wanted it to be your way. Well, that's not how the universe works. It doesn't follow your design. It follows everyone's design. Meaning we all get to have what we want. Not just you. So until you get rid of those things, the universe is going to keep coming after you. Keep doing what it needs to teach you that that is wrong. And we're going to be here to remind you how much it destroyed billions of lives. Because it's the respect that we give to our ancestors to show them that we have not forgotten what those things have done. And we will never follow them again because we know it was wrong, it was horrid, it was bad. So I'll be here to remind you every single day in your life to teach you why we do not like the churches. It has nothing to do with the people. It has to basically do with the way they want to think. The books and the crosses is mostly what it's about, because it's all about what was part of the great disaster throughout history, and those things are part of that. So until you start to bringing back the truth that the Egyptians knew, which is not to write a book, but to write history, not lies. Not one person could make the universe, and even the Egyptian knew that. They knew that for a fact. They qualified it as good amount of people, and that there was a split between such situations. And in a lot of different cultures, they did too. Because they knew now one person could do it, because that's the truth. It takes more than one to do something like that. But it doesn't matter how the universe was created, because that doesn't matter. What matters is you don't step into someone else's life and say they have to be the way you want it. That's the problem of the churches. They bring chaos. They are the sign of chaos, that there's going to be death because someone ain't following the way of that person. Until you get rid of that, I don't see how anyone could feel like they're safe when you're there creating their fears in front of their eyes. After hearing about all those deaths that book has done, those books, all of them, have done to those people, those innocent people that didn't deserve what they got. But you, as the people that follow that book, don't care about who's getting hurt while you're deciding to take your own design to this place when it's not yours alone. You have no right to stomp on others. And it's sad that you feel like you need to stomp on someone else to get what you want. I can't believe that you just can't seem to comprehend the true meaning of kindness. True kindness is when you don't try to control someone else's life, you try to be there by their side. When I'm at my grandma's house, yes, I remind her about what has happened with the religious folk because it's a thing that I have to help her understand so she knows that it wouldn't be right to do that stuff when it hurts our ancestors. And I'll remind her of that every day, and she appreciates it because she finally understood and she understands that it was. And I'm happy she does because that means we can be happy to pray to our ancestors and thank them for the lessons they taught and for the things we will obey, not following the mistakes of our ancestors, but learning to avoid those same mistakes. We're never gonna do what those people did because we know it is wrong. If a gay wants to be with a gay, they're gonna be with what they want because that's the right thing. To let them be happy, not controlling them, not telling them they can't do it because they don't think it's right. No, it's not our place to say if it's right or not because we can only say what's right for ourselves, not for others. But when it comes down to history and what brought the disaster that brought so much hurt and so much pain, that's where those books come in. They created death, they created disasters. It was because of those books that people started to lose their point in life. The true meaning of it, which is to live as happily as you can be without creating something to destroy said happiness. And that's what the Bibles have done. Destroyed happiness. What good were they when they took away everyone's happy ever after? Because every time I read those books, how many times is states humans alone? A bunch. And then when it calls animals animals, why can't it just say what they are? And even if it is stating the animals, how disrespectful to say that it knows that you have to eat when that was not the way of the universe. Not at all. The truth is quite different, darling. The truth is quite different. The animals were here with us, creating the universe. We weren't doing it on our own. The animals were by our side while the universe was being forged. And that was all of our magic, including the animal kingdom. So as you're stating the fact that we have the right to eat them is a lie that you're telling yourself. You're choosing to eat them. You don't have the right to do so. You're choosing that decision. And that's the truth. I'm not going to tell you to not, because that's not my place. But what is my place is to remind you that this universe was made for everyone, including the animals. So the animals decide if what's right for them, not you. And that's what I'm reminding you of. That and the factor that those Bibles have really caused a lot of deaths and frightening fears in people's hearts. And I'm having enough of it. So this is why I'm saying what I got to. And hopefully you out there that do care will take this as a way to see some hope coming back to the universe. And remember the deaths that book brought, so you can remember that just because we don't have it no more doesn't mean we don't have happiness or joy or goodness, because that can never leave us. The only thing that can make it go away is a book telling us how to live. That will take it away. Unless it's something helping you understand what food groups you should eat, because technically you do need to know, because if you don't, you might eat a poisonous plant that might not be so friendly. But anywho, besides that, have a happy day, have happy eyes. Bye bye.